All right, let's go. Alrighty, what is up, beautiful people from all across the world? Welcome, 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 welcome. Wait for the crowd to build up. For those who've been here beforehand, howdy, going. Welcome back. For those who have not been here, hello, hi, and how are you? Just as a quick note, Jesse may be running a few minutes off. He's just trying to sort out something on his side to handle. There may be a potential that he may not be able to make it, but we've got a beautiful crowd here. We've got some very interesting insights to share, and we're going to run this as an AMA as well. So we'll go through all the deliverability jazz that we have to go through. We've picked up some very interesting things over the past. So for those who've seen and who've been here, like we said, the bottom right corner, drop it in the chats. Which part of this beautiful circular world are you part of? Well, it can be flat as well. And just let us know which temperature you're at in Celsius, not Fahrenheit. Okay, or Fahrenheit. It's fine. Let's do it. Let's fill up the chat. All right. Okay, we gone global. We got Puerto Rico, Serbia, we got India, we got Ukraine, but now in Poland, Texas, Egypt. Oh, baby. We got London, we got some more Egypt, we got Philippines, England, and 8 degrees. Like I said, for those ones who watched these before, I am going to talk about the fact that, okay, we've got someone from the Southern Hemisphere. Fine, Patrick, steal my thunder. It's 36 degrees here as well. Not jealous of y'all. All right, let's keep going. All right, okay. So the agenda of this conversation is very straightforward. We're going to love and respect your time. We're going to be speaking about everything deliverability. We're going to open this up as an AMA, so make sure you have your questions ready. I want to be very clear. This is not a support exercise. This is very much we want to help you out, speak about some patterns and trends that we've actually learned now, being very, very, very much deep into the weeds of things over the past few weeks. There's no surprise we're building a lot of interesting things on our front, whether it's warm-ups, infrastructure, servers, or SMTP. We're across it all right now, and Akash has had a lot of interesting chats with a lot of you on a trend perspective. So we'll answer some basic deliverability questions before we start, and then after that, we'll kick off the Q&As right after. So make sure you have your chat filled with any questions that you have that you want to have answered pressing-wise, whether it's to do with copy, whether it's to do with deliverability, mailboxes, infrastructure, anything and everything, outbound lead gen, we will get those right through. Before that, I did have something really special to discuss with all of you. And that little special thing to discuss is effectively for those of you who are sending volume, who are seeing some good results or trying to build up more results, we want to give 10 of you something for 1 month for free that we've seen over, I believe the analysis we've done, about 1,000 campaigns over the past week. So a week result. So just bearing in mind that this is a week-based data, that there's been a 20% bump for these people for 1,000 campaigns, a 20% bump when they've gone ahead and done this one thing that we've given to them and they've bought. So that is going to come to you all for free for 10 of you who stick around till the end. That is, you are each 10 lucky people are going to get one smart server that is blacklist verified, deliverability proof, high volume based, and is built for high placement. So how it works is very straightforward. Swapnil's thrown a link over there. All you have to go ahead and do is drop a message to that link in that Slack chat, put your name there, and whoever sticks around till the end, 5 lucky random winners are going to get a server each for free for 1 month as kudos to you. And like I said, we got the results, 1,000 campaigns now. It can be a lot higher. We've got, I think several 100,000 campaigns running, but we just released this a few days ago, actually. We've only picked 1,000 campaigns, 20% deliverability bump. So 120 results, 120 replies before, 100 replies before, 120 results after. That's how we've got the product running and growing. So super excited for all of you. And with that being said, let us start. Akash, is there anything that you wanted to speak about before we go for it?
Absolutely. So first of all, thank you so much for taking the time, wonderful people. Pleasure meeting you this week as well. And Vaibhav, my question is pretty straightforward, right? You have been in a lot of conversations. You've been seeing what's happening across. So my first common question would be: what are all the trends that you're seeing? What are all the things that you've heard? And what do you think people should be prepared for?
So it oh, interesting. I think you saw the same Loom video I sent yesterday to you internally. We're seeing a
Yes.
I don't know if this is common or whatever or something interesting. Um, Something with Outlook and Gmail now. It was different a few last month or a few weeks ago, which was where Gmail was placing really well, and when you were sending from Gmail, it was working fine. But now Outlook to Gmail is being weird, and it's a very common error. And the error is a straight out message saying that your previous message has been marked as spam or something
Mhm.
of the like. And the commonality that we've been able to find, it's not always 100%. That error message has shown up always at times when you've sent from Gmail accounts as well. But
Mhm.
that on a causation versus correlation. Again, this is just assumptions. We're sharing this with all of you. Um, Sending from Outlook, certain tenants seem to be causing that weird message on Google. Every other service, whether it's your lead has an SMTP, a private infrastructure, or Outlook is working just fine.
Right.
But for whatever reason, Gmail is being a bit weird right now. We're actually not seeing as bad results in Outlook, candidly speaking, for someone who just sent a message saying that
Yeah.
what's happening in business Outlook. So we're not seeing that much of a difference in trend. So that's actually fine. And we've got two graphs that we've sort of sorted out right now, and the two graphs over here is. Uh, since the start of January till this week, and we'll be doing this every week right now, by the way. So we'll be showing you all some graphical data to give you a sense of understanding of how the market is performing. So there's been a very positive downwards trend towards bounce rates, and that effectively means that people are just verifying the mails a lot better, which is great. And on that note, we have seen people who bought servers having a dramatically better bounce rate allocation too. So that's something to consider. The
Got
second
it.
thing is we've seen a good overall trend of increase in replies till the what is today's date? Till the 21st, we've got a very strong positive bump. The 22nd, for some reason, there was a dip. And
Mhm.
23rd, I guess we're going to be finding out how the results come through. So um, that's just something that we picked up right now. So just as an FYI for anyone seeing a switch in results, it's been a very strong and good trend positively since the start of January. But yesterday there was a dip, and then today the numbers are even. So that means it's back to where the strength was. So we'll see whether it goes up or it stays flat. Just as an FYI on an overall market perspective, how this is performing. Just do keep in mind this is very obscure data because I've taken nearly 30 something million emails per day blocked out. I'm not considering the context. I've not considered the copy. I've not considered whether they're even looking for replies. I've just kept that as a general note. Cool.
Sweet. My next question, the most commonly asked question to me, which you actually answered: what's happening with Outlook, Vaibhav? Because me personally, when I see it, it's working beautifully fine for a lot of people. But also at the same time, people having problems with the email service providers are people with Outlook. So do you have any predictions? Do you have any idea? Do you know what's happening there?
So I've spoken to a few vendors, like obviously the ones that we have on our platform and other vendors who we work closely with. Um, I really can't pick up an active trend right now, but what I
Mhm.
can tell is because some of these vendors have a very unique way of setting up their infrastructure,
Right.
most of which they don't actually share. So it seems to be vendor specific sometimes,
Got
where
it.
one vendor works perfectly fine, one vendor doesn't work perfectly fine. And it seems to be happening on the newer mailboxes that have been set up versus the older mailboxes that have been
Got
set
it.
up, right? Um, so I don't think this is industry wide. I think it's just perceptive to the service that they're using perceptively. So, and ironically, a lot of people are getting good results on SMTP right now. Um, who knew I'd say that? But to answer your question on overall outlook side, what's happening? Look, we've had this conversation since June, I think so, when this whole drama started.
Exactly. Yep.
It got a lot better for some, it got worse for some, it started getting better for a lot. I believe there's some people who are doing really well when they're using SendGrid.
Right.
There's certain vendors where they're sending through SendGrid and it's working really well for them.
Wow.
It's completely anti-pattern to me.
Never
I
heard
would
about
never
you
do it.
that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would never do it, but it's working well for them. So I think effectively what we can assume as a good note is if you're sending from places and platforms that have had a common trend or pattern in the past where
Right.
like it's used quite proactively.
Mhm.
I think trying something new is actually working quite well. So don't to keep it too abstract, but again, not to recommend people and then take bias away. Um, in short, if you're trying to send to Outlook accounts, go ahead and try private SMTP. Go ahead and try Outlook itself, which is like vendors that are Outlook providers, or go ahead and try SMTP providers. They seem to be doing interestingly better on Outlook for now. And if you watch this next week, it may be different. But for now, that's what we're trying to see.
Got it. Thank you so much for that because I have an answer to give at this point. So thank you.
Okay.
So these are the main ones, Vaibhav, and this is an AMA as we know. So
Yeah.
the chats are flooding, but also what I'll do is, what do you prefer? Do you prefer the chats or do you prefer people hopping on the spotlight and asking you questions directly?
Let's go through the chats and then we'll do one-on-ones as well. Why not, right? And you're welcome to take on some of these too, because I think a bunch of people would really love to get the answers.
Absolutely.
Well, there's a really big question by JP. JP, I'll read that just because my eyes are being lazy right now. Um, so I started a campaign and the results were amazing. And after a week, it started not getting replies. Can copy get flagged in less than a week? I tried with Smart Service and it's still doing the same thing. Deliverability is 99%. If you're speaking about your copy, deliverability, like your warm-up score at 99%. I don't know if somebody had a chance to see the message I sent out, but there's a reason why now we're refreshing copy every 3 hours. It's a lot of copy that we're refreshing. So we're refreshing, uh, 8-9 million like text conversations every 15 no sorry every 3 to 6 hours
Mhm.
because copy is having a massive impact. So what we've seen is some people had some bounces on the warm-up pool, and then we went and looked through it. It was because some of the copy was being marked as spam. So then that's when we aggressively push it up, and
Got it.
then there's been a massive dip. Again, that report shared on the internal unwrap thing, if you had a chance to look, Akash, which is a significant dip right
Yes.
now in bounces. So seemingly so it seems like copy is making a big difference. We're changing it every 3 hours right now, if it helps. So Imran, perhaps that would be a very good place for you to start looking. Because what ends up happening is you're not gonna be blacklisted, right? Your MX records are gonna be perfectly fine. Your domain is gonna be absolutely healthy. And if you do a placement score, you'll probably get a decent placement score as well. But the premise of note over here is if you're sending the same copy over a small frequency of volume, sorry, a very short frequency but high volume, that seems to have an impact. So hopefully that helps. Does subdomain matter in deliverability? No, they're all treated the same. It's not like SEO where in SEO a subdomain has a separate folder structure set up. But in outbound, the primary domain carries the weight of quote unquote reputation, the imaginary word that we tend to use.
Jordan has one.
Uh, yes,
I'm
sir, go
getting
for it.
decent deliverability on campaigns plus a good click rate for emails with a single CTA, but conversations have dropped off. Any insight into how this could have happened?
So if conversions have dropped off, does that mean that you're talking about once you got people to jump on a call and they've not converted? Or um, maybe that we can get Jordan on a call and we can get Jordan in front and we'll have a chat. Sweet. What do you do when Google Workspaces show spam on Google mailboxes? As in, uh, uh, sorry, Mikita, didn't necessarily fully understand that. You're welcome to raise your hand and we'll get you on play. Is Zoho as an email service provider bad for following outbound, following 30 per day? Andrew, sorry to be the bearer of bad news, my friend. You want to run away from Zoho as much as and fast as you can. I apologize for that, but yeah, it won't matter now. But all of a sudden, let's shut your whole thing out. So you don't want to do that. Zoho, where's 600? Hold on. Does TLD better? Yes, we actually had a bunch of people who came on these office hours and tell us that .com seems to be doing better than .co and .io or .co. So just as an FYI, it does. You say you change a copy every 3 hours. Does that include having multiple variants using Spitax? Sorry, Drew, the intent of where I'm coming from is the notion of mention is the warm-ups. We send out about 90 to 120 million warm-up emails from replies. Our infrastructure is meant to send that out. And to attain to that volume a day, you don't need to do that much. Like 3 hours is why we do that, because we're pumping emails a day. You're not sending, if you're sending 120 million emails, I want to know what you're doing for work. But 3 hours is an aggressive amount for us, but you can go ahead and keep it stretched a lot longer. Keep your spin tags going. You don't need to change your copy very often, but you want to change it fast enough if you don't have variance in your copy. is the words to use, right? If you speak of any of the classics in the market, the guys and girls who are doing extremely well, they follow a micro campaign strategy. Hopefully, I'm not giving the secrets away. The micro campaign strategy is very straightforward. They only do 1,000 leads per campaign per angle, if that helps. And the angles are like obtusely different when they go for another angle. Cool. Anything else that you want to go for, Akash?
In the meantime, I'll pick up a few from the chat, but
Yes,
Mike has
please.
also raised his hand. So let me quickly spotlight him so that he can give you more clarity on his question. Yeah, you go, sir.
Uh, Hi, yes, hi, thank you. So my question is just I bought a Google Workspace. I bought domain, I bought persona, I sent from it, and then now I do the deliverability test, and I see that my this inbox sends to spam to the Google, but to the inbox to the Outlook. I understand that I need to send from this inbox to the Outlook, but how to return this box and persona from spam on Google inbox if I can.
Great question. I started the conversation at the start saying Google's being a bit weird. And it's just started happening a few days ago. So I don't want to sit and say I have the answers right now as to how you can move it back from. 'Cause if it's working for Outlook and not for Google, then usually tentatively what happens is if just you've got bad copy or your copy is spammy, the providers really don't matter, right? It's going to be bad regardless. Outlook is not exactly less intelligent than Google. They're both quite smart. But if you're placing really well for one and you're not placing well for the other, what we've observed over the past few months was an industry trend that happened where people just crushed it on Google, but they didn't crush it on Outlook. The way they solve for that is through matching. So when you do the campaign settings, you can actually see the portfolio distribution of your leads across Gmail, Outlook, whatever, and they would just direct the traffic to the provider that worked for them. In terms of how to move from Google and to the primary folder, if that's the intentive question, my suggestion over here, and this is just a suggestion, because you've raised this over here and trying to find a solution for you. If you got Smart Delivery, even if it's free, you can try it out. You don't need to buy anything, just try it out for free. You do get the option to do something called warm-up copy. So in the second stage of setting up a campaign, you can do warm-up copy. What I'd recommend you to do is do a Smart Delivery test and set up the warm-up copy, but only do the test to Google accounts. So what we do is we will send programmatic emails from your mailboxes to Gmail mailboxes that we own across the world. And if the emails land in the spam folder in our mailboxes that we own, we will move it to the primary folder for you. So perhaps potentially enough of these copies of yours going through our Google accounts, and we are programmatically moving them from spam and marking them as primary. You do that exercise for a few days, there may be a potential of that becoming better for you. If that helps. Can't hear you, mate. You're muted still.
Still on
Sorry.
mute.
Sorry, using your tool from Smart Delivery, I can use this. And for example, in a week, in my placement test, I could see inbox on Gmail.
That would be the hope. That would be the hope. So just make sure that you
Great.
just
Thank
turn
you.
on, just turn on the warm-up campaign copy. So then what we're doing is warming up your campaign copy from Google accounts specifically. So that will be a good exercise. I don't want to say that it's 100%, but I think that will be a great experiment to see that improving. Usually when you positive intent signal it, it tends to do a good job. So it'll be a good test for us on that front. Cool.
Awesome.
Sweet.
One from the chat along the same lines. So it's from Sam. Sam says, sending to Google emails, only getting 4% reply rates, already getting good results for the last 2 months. This week, it's gone down to 0.25. All emails landing in promotions, according to Smart Delivery. I'm using 4 different infra providers for the same campaign, and all went downhill. Even smart servers and new copy is not helping. Any suggestions?
I think the fabulous question. You've done everything under the sun. I think, Sam, I started the conversation saying that we've seen a big bump and then a slight dip over the past 2 days on an overall platform perspective. So might be an industry trend right now. I wouldn't take too much to it for the next 2-3 days per se, because it usually does spike it back up. Like I said, that the overall cycle was positive since the start of January, barring the weekends, obviously. But as of 22nd and now 20, I mean the 24th, but as of the 22nd, 22nd to plus 36 hours, 36 hours ago, now it's come back to neutral. But the 22nd, for some reason, there was a low on replies across the platform. So it's not just you. This is across 30 something million emails. So I would just wait to see if that changes. But you're seeing, you said this whole week, right? So that might be
Yes.
something else. I just saw a small dip for one day, and that usually happens when there's like an industry change or an algorithm update or something that happens, and usually cycles back up after a day or so, which is what we're seeing. But if you've got it across a whole week, and you're seeing that happen on SD as well, then the usual. So I'm assuming that you've got your blacklisting sorted out. I'm assuming that you got your copy in place. I'm assuming that you got your responses. Your relevance score is actually good. Um, Actually, wait, sorry. His emails are landing in the promotion. Sorry, sir, if that's the case, then you need to flip your copy. Sorry, I didn't read that. But you said new copy is not helping. Hold on, Kareem. I will get to you in a second. So 0.25 reply rates, all emails landing in promotion folders on SD. And can I hop in? Yeah, you can put your name up. Yeah, just raise your hand and we'll get you sorted. It'll be good to get some more context. Sweet. Some more questions we can go through. What do you do Google Workspace? That's sorted out. Are there any bulletproof subject lines? Jeb, I wish I could give you that answer. Can you get your hand up, Sam? Not physically. You can put the thing up and we'll get you wherever you are. Okay, we can't find Sam, but we'll wait to answer Sam's question, but we'll jump on to this other question that we have. How important is it really to do one workspace into 3 domains multiplied by X's and cold email? Someone at my job says there is no evidence to support extra workspace, blah, 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 blah. Alex, there is no correlation between deliverability and number of mailboxes per domain. The intent of that is actually to spread risk. That is all. So the premise over here is nothing but needle in a haystack causation versus correlation. We've had a bunch of very, very smart people here who put their tinfoil hat on, and they've done a lot of research. And it's come down to IPs, fingerprinting on browsers, credit cards, phone numbers, you name it. Google's gone a bit crazy on that front. So the premise over here is if you have 10 domains in a single workspace and you got 3 mailboxes per domain, the original reason to just do 3 mailboxes per domain was that if you burn 1 mailbox, you have at most lost 2 more mailboxes. If you're doing 50 mails per mailbox, you've just lost a volume of 150 a day. So not too detrimental. But however, if you're doing 10 domains per mailbox, you've now lost 500. So it's just to risk manage. That was what the exercise over there was. It's just reducing the risk, as Saksham rightfully answered over there. The second front over there is if you go ahead and have 10 domains in the same workspace and one domain burns, then the second burns, the third burns, there's a good chance that Google, our friends, will pick up that the fourth and fifth and sixth are also probably going to burn and they'll start dropping your deliverability. So that is the assumption over there, and that is what the hypothesis is going on in the market, and it's quite strong right now. So hopefully that helps you, Alex.
Sam is
All right, we got Sam on.
So yeah,
all
we
right.
got Sam on. Sam, if you can turn on your video, I'll quickly spotlight you, mate. There you go.
You got to unmute yourself, sir.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Loud and clear.
Yeah, all right. Awesome. Okay. So it's been longer than a week actually. So I mean probably like the last 7 or 10 days. So I was doing very good. Like for 2 months on the same infrastructure, same copy, we were getting 4, 5, 6% reply rates. Everything was great. And then from one day to the next,
Just flipped.
almost 0%. Yeah. So smart delivery says Outlook is actually placing pretty well. And Google is, all going to promotions folder. I've tried new copy, just completely flipping the copy, smart servers.
They make a difference.
And nothing seems to be working. So for me, actually, Outlook is doing better now, and Google completely not.
I love it. That's yeah, I love
Yeah.
it. We didn't even need to wait till next week for the trend to change. We just had to wait for a new person to come in for the trend to change. Love it. One question for you then, Sam, is when the day of the flip happened, did anything happen? Anything different? Like, was there any like increase in disconnects or something? Was there
Mm,
it was just like one magical day, you woke up and whoop, it
yeah.
fell.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
have a
so once I started a new campaign, right? So
hmm.
I had a campaign that was running for a couple of weeks. That one was doing very well. And it is actually across multiple clients. I'm seeing this. So
I have a
so yeah,
question.
it's just
I
an
have a
issue
question
with
to ask you.
Google. Yeah.
I have a question to ask you. What type of leads are you reaching out to? Like Fortune
Okay,
500,
so
Fortune 5000, enterprise, small
no.
business.
So it's for this particular one, the ones that's doing the worst is e-commerce, um,
Hmm.
and
But
marketing
the
agencies.
issue is you did say e-commerce was working fine beforehand though.
Before, yeah,
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 before suddenly just one day came in, it
yeah,
just dropped all of a
yeah.
sudden, but it
Since
was working
last
just fine.
week, Monday, really. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Huh. I would probably want to take this offline and do a bit more of introspection. Maybe
yeah,
Akash and I can help you out there.
yeah,
Um, that's why I asked if there's something like a disconnect happened or something that's usually an indicative or something. If there's like a high bounce rate that just popped in all of a sudden, that's usually indicative. The reason why I
yeah.
asked regarding the Fortune 5000 is one thing you might be placing fine on SD, but if
Mm-hmm,
you've been blocked by Proofpoint or Barracuda,
mm-hmm.
then you would be facing an
No,
issue for sure. But you're not doing
yeah.
that either, right? So
Yeah, I'm taking these out. I'm not sending to Mimecast, Barracuda,
Great, great. So if you're doing that
Proofpoint. Yeah,
even more, so
yeah,
that's fabulous. So if that's the
yeah,
case,
yeah,
then probably to be more productive with this, we probably want to go through your copy, your campaigns, your setup, your infra, and all that jazz. I think
yeah.
you have Akash's email, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I think we've already spoke a few times, Sam. So if not, just DM Akash your email. We'll set up
Okay.
a chat. We'll go through this. Cool.
Yeah, awesome.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it, guys.
Easy,
Cheers.
man. Cheers.
Thanks, Sam.
We'll check some questions on the chat. The chat's buzzing. That's great. But we'll also take Kareem. Welcome back, sir. Looks like we're back on chat.
Hey, what's up, guys? And first of all, Vaibhav, Akash, you guys have been great. Um, I'm booking probably like, across all our campaigns, like 40, 50 meetings a week just through Smartlead. Um, so so yeah, let me just start by saying like, great product and great team. One thing that we're trying to do to scale our scale the number of meetings is we're trying to figure out how to, make that number go higher. Um, and I know that you've talked about copy and making sure you vary your copy. Um, can you elaborate on like um how much variance you think is necessary or is helpful um in order to actually be varying your copy enough? Because right now we do use spin tags, we do use merge fields. Um, but you said like 1,000 leads per angle, um, per client. And I assume each client would also have their own angles. So it would be great if you could just elaborate on like on what you mean when you say like vary your copy.
Sure.
So yeah,
So
step.
to give you some context, right, is this is just coming like a lot of our days just spent looking through numbers and data and graphical blah blah blah. So I started doing a little front exercise on my front, which is word clouding, which is trying to find out like common words used and so on and so forth through the stuff we have on ClickHouse. And I won't name names, but you probably know them. They're popular influencer in the cold space, cold media space. They're the ones who do the 1,000 campaign strategy or micro campaigns as they call it. I think when I was speaking to them, they told me this. I cannot verify because I haven't gone through their whatever. They do a 70% variance. So they ensure that 70% of the copy is varied. Or what some people do is they actually go ahead and they've got so many merge field tags that the only thing that is non-merged is like the as or like to from like adverbs and verbs and like general words, but the actual merge fields itself are extremely personalized, and that's why we had this whole chat with some people if you've seen on the Clay integration, because what people are doing now is they're actually going ahead and in their copy they just have like a single variable, right? They just have a single variable. And what they're actually doing is they're pumping the entire custom content from Clay in a single variable directly into Smartlead. So every single version of their copy is completely unidentifiable from the past. It's the previous one. It's very different. So that's how some of them are doing it. That's working for them. But for this person that I spoke to, 70% was what he said. Like I said, we're in a chat with about 200-ish people. There is, I have not verified that, but his results are fabulous for the most time. So the way he measures 70% is he used word clouds. So word clouds is basically just picking up common words used across multiple campaigns because he gets his VAs to do a bunch of stuff. And then word clouds is how he sort of verifies that a certain volume of words are not used across, multiple campaigns. Just as FYI. Hope that helps.
Cool. Thank you.
Cool. Sweet.
Thank you, Kareem.
I think, Kareem, we've got several calls set up. We'll go through this anyway, but we'll be there to help you out regardless. If you're trying to prune that extra, or whatever, like you said, I don't know if you use Clay. If you do, if you don't, check them out. I would highly recommend them. A lot of people have great results. They use the Clay agent mechanism there to drive a lot of that custom copy, and it may just work out really well for you. It is on the pricing side, but then if you're getting good results already, it may very much be worth the investment. Cool.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks, Kareem. All right. Shit. 31 messages.
Next up,
All right.
we have JP. Most of it is being answered to, but one question I've picked up, Vaibhav, if you can help. Would a
Yeah, sorry.
mailbox on AUP block impact the main domain reputation?
AUP block?
Yeah, that was new for me as well.
Well, sorry. Maybe you can point me to the chat.
Yeah,
AUP
it's
block.
from Ken. So
All right. Let's look for it. Let's look for it. Let's look for it. Kareem, sorry, I saw your DM. Sorry, I just saw your DM now. Apologies. So you can be what a mailbox on AUP. Ken, can you just explain what AUP
yeah,
block means?
acceptable use policy violation. Vaibhav has dropped it on the chat.
Would a mailbox on acceptable use policy violation block impact the main? Yeah, of course. Of course. Yeah, it will. It definitely will. It most certainly will. There's no two ways around it. That is a given. Sorry.
Awesome. JP, if you can turn on your video, I'll quickly spotlight you so that you can shoot your questions. And people, if you have any questions, sometimes the chats can get flooded. So raise your hands. Bottom right, you have React. Click on it, raise your hand, and I'll spotlight you. There you go, mate.
Hey guys, thanks so much for taking some time answering the questions. These workshops are super helpful, so certainly appreciate that.
For sure, mate.
So I've been doing outbound for my own company, an HR consulting business, not an agency, for about a year. Consistently had low open rates, low reply rates. Switched from Gmail to Microsoft. Just because a lot of my ICPs are more like mid-sized companies, so 30 to about 300 employees roughly. So I figured more of them will be using Microsoft. So did that, still had low open reply rates. So then what I did let the emails warm up, the email addresses warm up. One domain, 3 email addresses, running a maximum 50 emails a day. And did the smart deliverability test. And I have 50% of the emails that are landing in spam. So the domains aren't blacklisted. DKM and SPF are good. DMARC had an error in there, but I fixed that. Still had the same issues. And so I'm going to be going through the text to make sure there's no hidden HTML after seeing your last workshop to make sure that's the case. But I'm wondering, is there anything else you think you would do if you were me?
So when we did the SD, we will get back into bringing the smart delivery workshops. We do them. We used to do them twice a week before the New Year's. We'll try to bring them back in very soon. So I went with like a 2-pronged factor approach there, where let's just say you are landing in spam, but you're not black. Sorry, let's just say you're not landing in spam. Sorry, you're landing in spam, and you're blacklisted. You don't need to look further most of the time, right? But if you're blacklisted for the right reasons, that if your domain is blacklisted separate, but if you're sending from Google and you're seeing that your Google servers and your relay servers are blacklisted, that doesn't matter, right? It's more so that your domain is blacklisted. That's the main issue to look at. If that's the case, then quite easy. Most of the time, you just want to move on from the domain. To be honest with you, that's what most of the people do. That's what we do. We really don't bother reviving it, etc. Blah blah blah. In fact, you can keep it around, and a year later, it becomes an age domain. You can actually use it as an age domain, and improve your life on that front. So that's something to consider. If you're landing in spam, but you're not blacklisted, it's usually telltale sign 90% of the time. I've eaten humble pie before, that's why I'll put the 10% there, just because there's a variance. It's usually copy.
So meaning like copy not being variated or copy
Someone
triggering
sent
spam.
something similar before, or you've sent too much of it, and now people just marking it as spam, so it'll get marked as spam even more. That's usually the tentative case, to point out. I think I don't know if the Kareem's around or etc., but like we actually did like an exercise where I was in your situation doesn't matter because yours is quite clear. If it's landing in spam, then it's just if you're not blacklisted, your domains are fine. Your volume is all right, as you said. Your bounce rates are low. Then it's simply just sorting your copy out. I know I'm sounding very redundant by repeating it so many times. I assure you I don't want to. I want to give better answers. I want to give something different. But it's kind of what we've seen happen most of the time right now. And if you really want to add like a variance piece, right? Like stick around, like I said, we'll give you like hopefully you get a smart server. So then for a fact it's nothing to do with this. It's just if everything's isolated to you, everything's owned by you, everything's managed by you, and you're still getting to the spam side, it's just an indicative fact that you want to just flip the copy up a bit and then work backwards from there. That's usually what ends up happening. And the results tentatively just go whoop up for some people right after that.
So let me ask you this then, because what I did was I took it through Mail Tester and also through a Mail Meteor to see if it would trigger
Yes.
spam words or anything like that. And it came back and it came back super clean. So would that be the case? Do you think it still could be copy? Just the fact that I'm using too much copy for too many
No.
consistent.
So this is a Mail Tester, right? Then that's the Mail Dash Tester.
Right.
That's the newsletter platform. So if you want to use an alternative tool, use like MailReach or something. They're a competitor to SD, so use MailReach. Mail Tester is a newsletter platform, so they will give you a very different result structure because they're going to verify you based on like your CSS rendering, your copy, your images, whether your images are like you're linking to like a blacklisted source. Like Cloudinary. Sometimes if you got your images listed on Cloudinary, different. If you're using certain like sending platforms, like not MailChimp, but like a MailChimp equivalent, they don't even they will host the images on their URL to get the clicks and downloads. In which case that URL will be blacklisted. You want to do like whitelisting. Some people do it on S3 bucket links directly. So that's what MailTester does a really good job at. So if you want to do like a comparable, probably do what's it called? MailReach.
MailReach.
If it helps. Yeah, cool.
And then
they've got a
vary
free version as
copy.
well. Yeah.
And then so you'd say vary the copy more, try different verbiage, run it through MailReach.
Run it through SD and run it through MailReach, right? Like, here's the other thing to keep in mind, and here's why, like, where deliverability tests as well, I want to just add a bit of variance when I say copy as a thing to factor in. Gmail, very much like Google itself, is very subjective to personality choices. And this was a big, like, dumb me, aha brain movement, brain moment, right? Let's just say I'm into football and Akash is into cars. If someone sends me an email regarding cars, but sends the same message to Akash regarding cars, it will land in his primary, it will land in my spam. Right? So what matters is that, yes, we've got these mailboxes, we've got thousands of them, we're doing tests and we're moving and marking them as spam and so on and so forth. And we are actively working on and like trying to address this in an interesting way where we are purposely marking, if we will be doing this, where if sales email land in spam for a certain SD seed list test mailbox, we won't actually move it across because we want to sort of build personas of mailboxes where we've got like 100 mailboxes that are going to pretend to be like a CEO. 100 mailboxes that are going to pretend to be like someone who's enthusiastic about a product that you're selling. 100 mailboxes that reply really late. So almost creating like personas based upon behaviors as to how mailboxes operate. So that is not yet done. That is a a concept we're trying to test and bring it to market, but that's what we've realized as well. So whether it's SD or whatever, if you're seeing just a pure copy-based spam score, it can be very much for the fact that mailboxes or the list of mailboxes used, similar copy has previously defaulted to spam. Right? And we've rescued it. We moved it to the primary folder, but that's the behavior of those mailboxes. Again, it's all hyperbole, and I know I'm not giving you a result, and I'm maybe drawing more questions and answers, but I just want to just give some variance in the answer. So they may be like the mail tester test, the mailboxes but the other thing to consider with mail tester, by the way, is they don't give you raw mailboxes. They give you a proxy address to which you need to send an email, and then they route the traffic from the proxy address to a bunch of mailboxes. Right? That's how mail tester works. That also has an impact. So all these things have like different impacts for you to sort of work towards. My general suggestion is run a test in a competitor tool, see if you're getting similar results, then like that's that's writing on the wall. If you get different results, then there might be this might be a reason for you to consider as well.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Easy, mate. Thank you.
Thanks,
Please.
JP.
Okay, we're getting the questions and we're getting the hands as well. We get Mr. AI Thinkers. I hope that's not your first name, otherwise your parents did a very good job naming you. I assume.
No, this is one of my clients that I work for. But I'm Will. Nice to meet everyone.
Hi,
So
Will. Nice to meet you.
I think best practice, I have a Microsoft account, I have a Google account. I've set up 4 domains in each, 3 emails for each domain. And the client has a Microsoft account that's completely different from the one that I'm set up on. And we're using this is the question. We're using the same name, let's just say John Smith, on all 12 of those emails on each Microsoft account and each Google account with just variations. One, is that okay? Because it's a real employee that also has an email address that's similar. We have all these different variant domain names. I'm worried that we're going to hurt her deliverability and she's not going to get customer emails.
No, you're fine.
All right.
First name, last name is not an impact at all. It would be a
And
big
then-
problem for whoever had John Smith as their real name then. So you're fine.
Right. Okay. An email signature, having some.
You want to spin text that. You want to spin text his signature. That's actually a feature we added because a lot of people asked for it, because having commonality, not in the name, but like if you got the same link, same format, same something. But this only matters when you're doing like high volume. Like I wouldn't really be pressed on this if you're doing low volume. At 12 mailboxes, I'm assuming you're not doing much. Like heavy volume.
Yeah, total of 24 mailboxes now.
Into 50, right?
Yeah, it fit less than, well, we're doing about 30 per inbox, I think is what I have it set at. So
about 600 a day then, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If it's 600 a day and you're seeing consistent low rep, then I would consider keeping the spin tax on the signature.
Okay. Yeah,
Cool.
I didn't realize that feature's out there, but we all have the same email signature, so we're addressed that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You can flip it up. You can we got the syntax and so you can test it up. We release it, but you can definitely do that now on the platform.
Cool.
Easy peasy, man.
Thanks.
I do want to add one point. You can drop off, but you're just listening to the point. This is actually on call with someone else, which is, and look, guys, I want to just say this 100 times, guys, and girls, say it 100 times, which is we're learning every day as well. Right. So whatever we like, if you go watch the previous videos, we'll say something different. We'll say something different this week, which is why we sort of force ourselves to do these sessions every week to sort of share whatever we picked up in the last week. So, but the point I was trying to get at on this is one thing for all of you just to keep in mind. Just because you're like, if you suddenly start seeing a dip on a mailbox that's doing extremely well and suddenly, boom, it drops, right? Just one thing for you to keep in mind is outbound by nature gets you maybe a 30% reply rate, 35, 40% if you're doing really well, right? But most people end up seeing a 10 to 15 if they're doing well. Some people see a 4 to 10. That stretched over months is going to draw a very big variance in the amount of emails you sent out to the amount of replies you received, right? Without going too deep into it, we're doing something around the space of outbound and sending emails, etc. And even ourselves, when we're building our algorithms, we're going to use that as a signature to understand if someone's a spammer or someone's doing something bad, right? And we'll probably like taper you or we will block you, or we will blacklist you ourselves. So if we would do that, someone like Google and Outlook, if they start picking up a high variance and difference over a large time period, they will pick that up. And if you have Microsoft Defender, you can actually see the total volume of emails sent in your tenant. You can see the massive difference, right? And you can directly start correlating that number to the fact that all of a sudden you're starting to see a dip. Some people have like a threshold point from which it breaks and starts dropping, and some people it tapers down slowly. So I just want to keep that in mind, where if you're seeing something work really, really well and suddenly start dipping away, it's just that you've reached fatigue points where you're sending way too much. You're getting too many. You're getting, on a day perspective, is fabulous, right? You send 1,000, you get 100. Life's great. Multiply that by 100 days, and you've got a very big difference in outbound to responses. So just a note. And we've got Matt.
Hey, sorry, I'm a little late, so this might be a super basic question you've already covered, but I'm just getting started, and I got like about 100 leads from Apollo just to test it out. And I selected like all the most kind of rigorous filters to make sure that it was verified coming out of Apollo, and then uploading it to Smartlead, and then again, kind of selecting all the most, rigorous filters to make sure that I'm not uploading stuff that has had reputation of being bounced, etc. And out of like I think it was 88 that I uploaded, only 9 successfully uploaded to Smartlead. And so that was like a big kind of pause moment for me, because I'm like, is this strategy going to work if only 10% of what I'm uploading is going to be like not risky? And then I'm imagining there's somewhere along the lines, I'm selecting something that's too strict, and maybe there's something that I can untoggle that isn't too risky. Or is there like an intermediary step I need to be thinking about to make sure that what I'm uploading is quality?
Maybe turn out the community bounce list one.
Community bounce one?
Yeah,
Okay.
don't use that. Don't use that.
Okay.
Don't use that, and then give it a crack and see if that makes a difference. But in
Okay.
general, Apollo you want to be very careful. I missed the part. Were you verifying after downloading from Apollo?
I clicked verified within Apollo, but then just yesterday a friend recommended Clear Out. I don't know if that's what you'd recommend, but I put it through Clear Out, and then was going to go to Smartlead after that.
So common recommendations that we have is Lead Magic. If you want to try them out, very, very free and very, very cheap, very affordable and high value. And we've got our own internal email verification tool as well. If you don't like, I always want to put someone else, so there's no bias. You can use our own internal verification tool. We do all the fancy stuff, the catch-alls, the multi-tenant verification, warm verification, soft verification, and we do all of it. You'll be fine to use the verification mechanism that we have. Or if you don't use this, you can use Lead Magic, which is pretty cheap, very affordable, and gets the job done too. Clear Out can be quite expensive at scale. But you definitely don't want to go straight from Apollo to whatever. They're not good leads most of the time. You want to get that sorted out. Cool.
Is there a better lead source that you'd recommend than Apollo?
No, Apollo is actually one of the best. It's the biggest. As much as everyone shits on it, Apollo is one of the best. Its refresh score is low, is what I know. Where the refresh score, meaning the staleness of the leads when they've changed companies and jobs, etc., is low. But I'm sure there's smart people there, because usually during the January period, everyone's switching jobs. So some of the leads actually switch and then they change. But on that note, we usually we give EV credits free, email verification credits free for a bunch of people, but we'll hook you up. I'll just ping Swapnil. We'll give you a bunch of email verification credits for free. At least that should get you going.
Awesome.
Cool. Easy, man. Cheers.
Thanks, Matt.
Alrighty, everyone. We'll keep it tight to another 6 minutes. So we'll take 2 more questions, and we'll get all the other questions answered to the best we can. We'll take a dump of this. We'll get it on Slack as well. So let's go for it. We've got Andrew and Victor.
Vaibhav, before I add Andrew, right? So there is a question on chat from Mustafa. He says you mentioned using Clay to insert a variable in the copy. Could you explain this a bit? And Swapnil told about the Clay agent, but he says you mentioned about adding a HTML variable.
I don't know what I said, but okay. So the way this works is when you are pushing from a Clay to Smartlead, you need to create a custom variable, and the custom variable. So you need to generate an entire copy on Clay. So you have another cell or another row. always messes it up. Another column, and the column needs to take the derivative values from all your previous columns and then create your own custom copy, which you can do as a prompt. Happy days. Clay will get that done. That will have a column name. Call that column name copy or custom copy, whatever it is. Then when you're pushing your leads from Clay to Smartlead, you will be given an option to add custom variables. When you create custom variables, create a variable called whatever, custom copy, and then map that particular column. In your Smartlead copy, your Smartlead campaign, before you start pushing to Smartlead, what you want to do is in the sequencing section, you want to put a bracket, and in that bracket, you want to do custom underscore copy. Actually, sorry, you do that after. You push the leads to Smartlead. Once you push the leads to Smartlead, all the leads are sitting there, or some of them are sitting there. Then when you, as you're literally tapping in the sequencer and you do double bracy brackets, you'll actually see in the dropdown, it'll have custom underscore copy. That's it. So the entire copy, completely variated, changed, and unique, will just dump itself straight into Smartlead. So every single lead of yours will have completely separate copy. One big, very strong call out. Do not, if you're doing the strategy, do not put spin taxing. It doesn't work that way. Spin taxing does not work within variables. Just FYI.
Got it. Mustafa, I hope that answered your question. Next up is Andrew.
Yep.
Here you go.
Akash, feel free to take the ones that you want to take as well.
Yep.
Oh, you made it, mate.
Yeah, thank you. Two questions. One, hopefully quick one, and then one that you could choose to answer or not. I just set up new inboxes through Smartlead. Do you think it's worth waiting until Smart Server warm-up is live to warm those up, or should I go ahead and get those warmed up now?
Get them warmed up.
Okay. Thought that'd be your answer. Second question on I've done a couple smart delivery tests, and my domains and spam assassin scores seem to be very, very good, very low, but IP address blacklist is a problem across some of my
Are you using Microsoft or Google domains?
all Google domains from the ones
Then
I've
it doesn't matter. So sorry, I don't know when you joined in the call, but basic premise and reference always is do not worry about the blacklisting protocol that's shown over there. If you're doing Google, because those are all Google servers, they change and flip all the time, does not matter. IP blacklisting on Google is not a thing to worry about. Domain blacklisting is the only thing you need to focus on.
What on Microsoft, is it the same?
Yeah, same thing. The large vendors you don't need to care for. It's to just maybe help out so that I'm not solving like being dismissive and whatever. It's like imagine you stole a little kid's hamster. I don't know why I'm putting it here, but I'm just gonna assume that you stole a little kid's hamster, Andrew, and the little kid had your email address, and that little kid has a Gmail account, and now they've emailed you, and you blocked that kid, and that kid emailed you from a Google server. And you've blocked that kid, and that kid's found like multiple addresses to email you from, all from a similar IP that Google allocates. You block that kid, you love the hamster, you just want to get the hamster away. That server will get blacklisted by nature and node. That's to how blacklisting works. But that doesn't mean that server like Google is blacklisted, right? So you'll be fine that way. So it's more so that's how Google tends to operate. And the servers that we're pointing are the relay servers and the MX record servers. So you're fine on the front.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome.
Cool. Maybe should give the hamster back, but that's a separate conversation. Cool. I'll get Victor on.
Hey guys, thanks for hosting this. I've been playing around with Smart Delivery's campaign warm-up function, and I think it's super interesting having the positive intent, and I can see how theoretically it would improve your deliverability rates. My question is, I noticed that I would get the same, not necessarily the same responses, but I would get responses from the same email accounts. For example, Michael at landinprimary.com.
Yep.
I would get like 10 emails from him. And I'm warming up like 200 email accounts. So my question is, if let's say I sent a warm-up email to him yesterday, it lands in spam, he moves it to the primary inbox. And then today, if I were to send another warm-up email to him again, wouldn't it automatically land in his primary because
Great question.
he's already used
Yes.
that?
He
So
should.
is that overstating the deliverability? And part two is if I'm sending it to a new email account, say Sarah at land and primary or a different domain, then would it? I think you know where I'm going with this, but
Yeah. Fabulous question.
Yeah.
Love it. Spoke about it in light, but great question, which is you sort of create mailbox fatigue because if it's interacted with a mailbox in a certain way in the past, if it interacts with it again, it will emulate similar behavior. And if I moved it from the spam folder to the primary, it will almost be like fake results, right? Which is really fair call. The change that we're bringing in, it's actually been rolled out. If you're seeing it happen, then you may be in like the batch may be clearing out and coming through, but we're rotating through mailboxes now. So we've added several thousand mailboxes for this very similar reason. So we have pods of mailboxes that go through in the smart delivery side of things. So you will basically get a separate pod each day you do a separate test. If you're not getting that, just ping us. We'll make sure that you're in that new thing. But that is what we are doing right now for addressing this. It's not 100% perfect. I want to be very upfront. But you did call it out perfectly. And that is a very fair assumption to make, where if you're interacting with the same mailbox multiple times, maximum maybe after the third time, unless you like got a really bad system, you will always be hitting the primary folder of that particular mailbox.
Yeah. I mean, I was just playing around with smart delivery because I had the 14-day trial period. I think it's an incredible function. I mean, I think it could be very, very interesting. But I might just sign up and play around with it some more.
But you raised a very fair point. And like I said, that is already a question, a rather challenge that was given to us a few weeks ago, and we addressed the same things like, yeah, that's absolutely what we would assume would happen as well. Hence why we've increased the volume of mailboxes in our system by a very dramatic amount, right? So because after some time, you're just going to start building fatigue. So you'll always score really well on our system. But thankfully, that actually hasn't happened yet because most people don't score too well on SD and they actually score well on other platforms. So we actually have the antithesis where we have to go ahead and be like, it's fine. If it's going bad, it's good. That's the whole point of the test. You want to fix it. You don't want to go to a doctor and the doctor tell you you're fine when you're like, spitting blood. So the intent is for us to find a fault. And if you're landing in the spam folder often with us, it's actually almost like a good sign.
Is initially my first test where I was getting 30% in the primary, and then like the next following days it would jump up to 80%. So I thought it was kind of overstating the results, or
No. Like there's no really like I'll call that very straight. There's zero magic and zero special sauce beyond a bunch of stuff that we're doing in terms of rotation, copy, etc. internally. We get your mail, we send it to a mailbox, we open the mailbox, where are you? Reply back, and we tell you that it's landed there. Of course, there's a bunch of stuff we do with the way we delete mailbox. See, if we get an email from you, we have to clear the mailbox, right? Otherwise, it'll blow it up and it'll get really bad. But if we get your email and we immediately delete it, that's actually negative intent. So we remove it in a very specific and periodic and strategic way. So there's a whole bunch of internal stuff that we do. Yes, that's a special sauce. Barring that, like it's like what you see is what you get. We don't like do any tapering in between.
Got it. And then how often are you cycling through these pods that you mentioned? For example,
it's every day.
Okay. So if I ran, 1,000 email accounts and they're sending 10 emails per account for the warm up, like.
So you would rotate through that in there's about 8,000 to 9,000. So you would rotate through them.
Is it by campaign or is it by
No, it's not by campaign.
Day?
It's per day. Per day per campaign. Right. So you rotate through them in 8 days.
Got it.
If that makes
sense. 80,000 accounts.
Yeah. No, because 1,000 into 8,000 into 10. So because each mail, think of the seed list that we have as leads, and you got 1,000 mailboxes, and you've got so the way it would work is you'd go 1,000, and you're sending to 8,000 leads. So effectively, each mailbox is going to reach out to, quote unquote, 8,000 mailboxes. That's not what we're going to do to your mail. We're going to ruin your system if we do that. We just send out like a couple of emails, just one per pod. So you're fine on that front.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
You
that's all I
should
had.
not be reaching our thresholds soon. If you reach our thresholds, then you are really stretching the system, which is great. Give us a challenge, but you should not be, at least the way we set it up.
Got it. Great. Thank you.
The last question for the day, Vaibhav.
We'll probably take it off. It's 3:05. We've got to jump on another podcast. But okay. Oh, we've got a hand up. Yeah, Mikita, go for it, man. You're muted. Long time no speak.
Thanks. Just a quick second question. Like low volume, 20K per month, 5K per week. Would it be a good to like get low price only having SMTP, like buying two SMTPs, and so is 5K a week, to just get a quick replies, or possibly to target even Gmail.
So
Do you
is your
understand the
question,
question?
should I go with an SMTP provider? Or can we recommend an SMTP provider that can send out
Yeah.
20,000?
Like
Yeah.
if I need to throw 5K messages per week,
Sure,
20K
sure.
per month,
Sure.
and just get quick
Sure.
replies, would it be enough to just buy SMTPs and
Yeah, we
send
could give it a crack and see how it
send
goes. Yeah, yeah.
And what
We tend to
SMTP
not
would
recommend.
you?
We're integrated with MailReef. They're well known in the market, dedicated services. We also have Inbox Automate, who are over here, and we've got Inbox Infra, but they're Google and Outlook. But I know you don't want to do that. You want to do SMTP. So if that's the case, MailReef, and obviously can't go without saying Maildoso. They're also great providers as well. Yeah, you're muted again.
And so for quick getting replies from 5K a week, 20K a month,
So
it would be enough.
you cannot scale up to 5K a week without doing some warm-ups. Even they will block you.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I mean 20K 5K a week in a whole. I mean 25 per domain per inbox.
Oh yeah.
all
You should be
this-
fine then.
all-
I think look, reach out to
no,
MailReef and
all
Maildosa.
this
Uh.
Mail does it. Wait,
Yeah,
thank you
reach
so
out to
much.
those two and then see how they will address that conversation with you. Cool. Easy. All right, beautiful people. There's about 86 of you who have stayed back. If 86 of you have requested any of the smart servers, we've got the thread going on the Slack chat. We'll drop it in the chat one more time. Someone, if you can just drop it on the chat one more time. So somewhere. We'll pick 10 lucky winners. You'll get our server for free. I just want to be very clear with you getting the server for free. We will not turn on automatic billing, but after 1 month, we will just stop it. So you can decide to stick with it or just subscribe. So just as an FYI, if it just suddenly shunted, yeah, you'll be like, hey, what happened? You'll get it for free for 1 month. Post that, you decide what you want. We won't bill you, but we'll give you for free. Have a beautiful day. All the best. Akash, what is that saying, sir, that we go with?
So there are three things in life happens that you can't evade. One is taxes, one is death, and one is office hours. See you all next Thursday. 10 lucky winners get one smart server each. Thank you all for taking the time. I'll see you guys next week.
Enjoy the wild, wild west of Outbound, everyone. See you all. Cheers.
Get yourself a drink, sir.
Bye.
Thank you.
Cheers, boys.